Welcome everybody to Monday night's empowerment session. Tonight we will be educating you on adaptogens and what I like to call healthy weight balancing. So many times over the years, people would come to see me saying, hey, I need to lose weight, or I want to lose weight, not necessarily that they need to, or even that they need to gain weight. And so they're looking for direction for to do that. So this is what I wanted to focus on, and the difference, the uniqueness that adaptogens help us with when it comes to working this direction. So let's start off by hearing this is a very unique testimony. Let's hear this story here.
Hi, I just want to share a little bit about my soul journey and weight management because soul is my foundation. When I started the journey 8.5 years ago, I wasn't looking to lose weight. I was just after feeling better, needing to feel better because I was very sick. So I started with what we now call the Bella Health package, and Vital Cinemate, Probio, Vertizymes, and then I added Sulflex PI. Those were key for me, and they're still my foundation today. When the Complete came out, I did add that. I still do that every morning, and I add the XL to it just because it enhances the flavor, and I need the XL anyway, and it simplifies things for me. But about 3 months into that, I noticed inches of inflammation through my face. My clothes fit better. I felt better. And as time went on, then I started losing pounds, and it wasn't rapid weight loss. It was slow. It was probably, maybe a pound a week. It wasn't fast, but I felt so much better. And just knowing that is enough incentive for me to keep going, because that was my ultimate goal, to feel better. So let's fast forward. Then they came out with the Power Chi. I added 2 of those every day, and I had kind of a stubborn 20 pounds, and it didn't want to move, and I knew I needed to lose that. I really needed to get to a better, healthier weight for some health reasons. When I started the Power Chi, that extra weight literally just kind of fell off. And I got to my maintenance weight now, which is about 176. When I started the journey, I was 220. 176 is a healthy weight for me. This is where I'm thriving. If I lose another 10, I'm happy. But you guys, I weighed within 10 pounds of what I weighed 32 years ago when I started dating my husband. And that's a win. I mean, that's amazing to me. So in midlife, over 55, I feel really pretty good about that. But again, if you balance the mind and body, you're making better choices. I'm not doing the processed foods. I eat very clean. I eat meat, veggies, fruits. I do eat potatoes. I like carbs, but I don't eat them frequent. And, when you feel better, you make better choices. And those choices continue to balance how you feel. And so I really encourage you, stay with it, stay with the consistency. I don't also eat like rice and corn. Those are 2 major triggers for me. Those are grains. So my body doesn't do that, but it just doesn't metabolize those. With the thyroid, the weight fluctuation, 50 to 60 pounds, was somewhat normal for me from my freshman year in college on. So this consistency has really paid off, and I encourage you, stay with it. Soul will build that foundation, and not only will you feel good, you'll lose the weight, and it will be a healthy weight loss, and you'll be able to manage that. And I wish you all the best.
I was so thankful to have Shauna share this, and I've watched her over the years, and she really exemplifies what I've always taught. And that is, if we come in and we support the foundation and help the body to come into balance, it naturally starts to shift that weight. And then, just like with detoxing, when it's ready, we can up it, just like she did with the Power Chi, and that last 20 pounds just melted right off. So a lot of people have heard and are familiar with the yo-yo effect. If anybody has dieted growing up, in fact, I remember watching in college, and I was not that person that did the dieting. I was always very active between working on the farm at the college and working on a farm before I went to college. I just didn't have to deal with it. And then after I had children, I was just active with that too. And I never went on a diet. I just let my body balance out. And so there is something called the yo-yo effect that's very real. And basically, your own metabolism causes it. When you go on a crash diet, which so many people do, especially these ones that are so extreme, really concern me, where they're having 5 or 600 calories is all that they're having during the day. Then their body actually thinks they're starving. And so what it's going to do is it's going to lower that metabolism. So and then it stops burning as many calories. When they start eating again, because their metabolism is slowed down, it can sometimes, and pay attention to this, take months or even years for your body to readjust. So, very important. Now, when you do that multiple cycles, then what the body also starts to do is instead of breaking down fat, it starts to break down the muscle faster. So again, that's not what we're wanting to lose. And muscle helps to burn fat. And then if you lose a significant amount of weight, even then, the more your metabolism will slower. And again, this cycle starts happening and becomes a never ending cycle. And how many people do you know that, and you've heard them talk about, well, I lost 10 pounds, but I gained back 15. And then I lost that 15, and then I gained back 25. And it just keeps building. Not only that, the this type of diets and a lot of the products that are on the market are very harmful to your body. There are so many stimulants, and that's really hard on the adrenals. So many of us deal with stress on a daily basis anyway, or whether it's just stress or stress from not eating right, like from sugar. And then there's liver damage that can happen. The digestive tract. There was a weight loss craze, we'll call it, weight diet that people were utilizing that came through our area about 10, 15 years ago. And yeah, people got some temporary results, but every single one of them, and I watched because I'd already seen the products, I'd seen what was in it, and I didn't feel it was healthy. Within a year, they were having gut health issues, and so they were coming to see me anyway. Some of these products on the market can impact the glandular system and the hormones, and then there's chemicals thrown in. So it's a lot to lose for a temporary gain. So, what's the difference with Soul Naturals and their weight loss package here? Well, Soul Vital, you guys know how much I love Soul Vital, and Cinnamate are a part of it. Soul Vital is huge because stress is everywhere. Well, stress, as you just learned when we talk about any type of dieting as opposed to a lifestyle change, I'm just saying those are two different things. That is just as stressful on the body as your daughter getting married, as a grandchild being born, as living through last year. Those are huge. And so having adaptogens to help keep the body from being so impacted helps in balancing out your weight. The vial's got beautiful, 6 beautiful adaptogens. Those are going to help with that emotional and physical balance because weight fluctuations and bringing yourself into health is also has an impact on the emotions as well as we have releases of past stressors that we have stored within the cellular tissue. This is very important, and the vital with the adaptogens helps to support that. The chlorophylls in it are great for helping pH balance. When your body has a healthier pH or otherwise more green, let's simplify that, then it will be easier to move out the acidity and acids. And a lot of those acids are what are tied to inflammation. Vital is also outstanding in helping remove toxins, and it does support the liver. A lot of people you hear about that they're like, well, I lost weight, but then I just get stuck. Well, whenever a person's stuck, usually means that that liver needs some additional support in order to move forward because it's gotten overwhelmed from processing and dealing with toxins coming through. And this is just a short little list of all the reasons, or of some of the reasons that Vital is so good at helping to work with helping to balance out the weight. And then we look at cravings. Cravings is a big issue that a lot of people have, and why they say that they can't follow through and stay on a healthier eating. And cravings come up more than just sweets. We're going to talk about cravings in anything that can transfer into simple carbs, as in fuel for energy, or even addiction type behavior. All those type of things, when people remove them, we can end up with weight issue balancing challenges. Cinnamate is outstanding at helping to balance that blood sugar, which is one of the reasons it helps to give us focus too. So when you're not craving stuff, you're feeling more focused, you actually end up with more energy as well. And this is a non-stimulant type natural energy. I cannot handle the caffeine that's out there for a lot of those people. I do not know how so many people live on that type of caffeine. And I'll tell you, actually, they can't do it for very long. It causes issues. Cinnamate also supports the digestive tract. So when we're working with people to truly help them come into weight balance, we're also often looking, like you heard Shauna talked about, we target a couple food groups that we thought might be tying in to her issue. She started with wheat, and then we realized that for her, corn and rice were an issue as well. Now that she has those out of her diet, that inflammation has dropped and allowed the body to go into healing mode. And remember, the body doesn't make any mistakes. So if it actually is putting weight in an area or holding water, it is to protect the body from something. And again, of course, as Solle Naturals, we know its signature is to have adaptogens in all the products, and Cinnamate has that as well. So your two other items that are in the weight loss package are the Soul Complete and the Power Chi. The Soul Complete, I remember having conversations with Blake when we were creating this, and I had told him my opinion was it was so important that we had this not just gluten-free, but actually grain-free, because so many people I was finding were having inflammatory issues tied to grains, not just glutens. And whether or not we had someone walking in that was diagnosed with celiac or Crohn's or something, a lot of the inflammation was coming out of the grains. So to know that we had a good protein, because I wasn't finding things on the market to direct these people to, that was something that was very definitive with what Soul had to offer. Also, dairy and soy-free. Soy-free is going to be very important because soy does impact the thyroid, and the thyroid is absolutely involved in helping to balance out your weight. It is also plant sourced for everything that's in it, but that's more important too when we're looking at protein, because a lot of your protein powders that are out there are hard on the stomach and very hard on the kidneys to break down and process. The Complete is unique. Not only are we working on getting good protein in, but we've got it in a formula that actually helps to repair the digestive tract, so that people that maybe even, let's just say they're adding it in just for a general support system for a meal replacement, because they're adding a little bit of fruit, or if they're doing it because they've had some health issues. What we find is the digestive tract is actually starting to heal. And so that's huge. The amino acids are, of course, going to help with toning, repairing, and strengthening muscles. And again, we've got those adaptogens in there. Power Chi. Power Chi, yerba mate is in Power Chi. It's also in the Soul Complete. And by the way, I have the picture of the peas there because that was main source for the proteins in the complete powder. But Power Chi has got yerba mate in its whole form. And again, it is safe, non-stimulant type natural energy. Someone like that is going to have issues with caffeine does not typically have an issue with this because it's non-jittery. Red beet root is in there. Red beet root was something that I've always used but in the past by itself, working with fasting. Well, what a better way to work with when someone is working on helping getting their weight balanced. And what it's doing actually in this formula is going to help to maintain that blood sugar so that they're not feeling the need to go out and eat if they're not really hungry. Apple cider vinegar, so many health benefits because of the minerals that are in there with the digestive health. It is very healing to the gut. It's actually very good for helping have a good balance of the right types of bacteria in the gut. A lot of people know that there's a little mixture that my kids grew up with. I grew up with using honey and apple cider vinegar, a little bit of water that we would use if we accidentally got food that didn't sit well on our stomach or were nauseous, and one round of that and would settle it. Well, the reason is because of what it does for bacteria. And again, adaptogens in this as well. So Dolores Encana, she had amazing results when she first started with the Cinnamate, when it first came out roughly 9 years ago, I believe. And reached out to her to see about double checking with her because this cinema or this testimony was so major. And it was, this woman is amazing. She has energy anyway. She's sister and does all this reflexology, and yet she had energy level that went off the charts with this. I remember her talking about how she would put it in her coffee and she loved it so much. And I've got so many different clients that do it that way as well. Um, I like where she says it tastes so good that she feels like she's having dessert after lunch when she drinks it cold. She also loves it hot in the morning, wakes her up. And of course, it's going to support, blood sugar, immune system, structural system. And then where she says, I'm totally addicted, almost panic if I can't find a pack. It's my new sugar. Well, I have Troy keep about 5 to 10 packets of this in his truck all the time. I have the same amount in my car and then the same amount in my purse. If we are out somewhere and going out to eat, we always either have a water in the car that we can add this to when we get back in, or we order a cup of hot water and put our cinnamate in it when we're done with the meal, just because it's so good for digestion and helping keep that focus balanced, because you can't always control the food that you've got when you're out and about. And that just helps immensely. But yes, many people just believe the cinnamate makes such a big difference with their cravings and it helps them to balance out their weight. But when we work on balancing out weight, we also need to look at the emotional components. So I went into my Feelings Buried Alive book and pulled up several of the references it made when people may be dealing with overeating or being overweight or obesity issues. And I have seen these come up with people talking about feelings of insecurity. Now, remember, I told you that your body does not make any mistakes. So if we've got weight on here, it is often has an additional purpose, like it's protecting us from things. Right there, I've got wanting to protect the body. It can also help protect you because you're dealing with rejection. Maybe you're dealing with food as a substitute for affection, or you have an inability to really express how you feel about things. Again, protecting the body. I didn't realize I had that or twice. Stuffed feelings, tension, putting on emotional armor, a symbol of power and desire to throw one's weight around. And then anything, there's just so much. And so, of course, one of the benefits I see with adaptogens is it helps the body to come into balance, which means it's going to help you to address some of your stuffed emotions are going to be there. But that's not something to be afraid of, because soul does have an answer for that to help processing it. And this is literally your soul around the clock, and starting with different times during the day to how to use the compass blends to help support when you're working with weight and appetite control. So you can see the confidence talking about applying it between 7 and 9 a.m. That's where the stomach circadian time zone is. Of course, stomach stores worry. And so, and it also has to do with when you're trying to digest emotions. And so I like how Jennifer got here, says to conquer worry, you need to lead with confidence. And then we've got over here with comfort between 10 and 1 p.m. That's when the heart circadian time zone is. So it's going to have to deal with empowering joy and leading with comfort. Your need to lead with comfort. Courage between 1 and 4 is a pre-urinary circadian time zone. That's going to help you leading with courage and to conquer fear. And contentment between 7 and 8. This is going to be pre-hepatic. So hepatic having to do with liver. That's where anger is. Liver, like if you remember I said, deals a lot with processing and breaking down our fats. It also deals a lot with these emotions. So if we can help the body to flow and guide and more easily move these out while we're releasing the weight as well, that is very powerful. So don't forget, these compass blends absolutely can be game changers for you as well. So one other question, and that is your body ready if you want to step in and do weight loss? And the reason I made this chart is because of how many people that would come to me and they had done tons of the yo-yo dieting, or maybe they were literally just, they were so exhausted, but all they could focus on was the weight. So let's look at what this looks like. So if you've been dealing with chronic stress, whether it's emotional, physical, spiritual, no, you're not ready to jump in. And don't worry, I'm going to give you a solution here that is soul-based. If you're not waking up rested at night, And I put that in there because good sleep is so important also for weight loss and weight balancing. Living on energy drinks. I already know that your adrenals are tapped. So do I want to push the body to help push it for weight balancing? No. If we've just suffered a major personal loss, no, that's not the time to be stepping in and pushing the body for weight loss. Or if you plateaued on weight loss, at that point, you might consider doing the good track detox first, because like I said, that liver gets overwhelmed. The good track detox is perfect for that. So if you've done lots of fad dieting, so what I'm going to come in and say is talking about building your body first with the Bella Health Package and the longevity. And I'll get into those details here in a minute. And so basically build first, because forced weight loss will work against you. Remember, your body's going to hold on to stuff. And the last thing you want to do is stress it by trying to push it to lose weight when actually it has a reason for having it there. And that's the beauty of the adaptogens of everything we talked about. Is going to help the body to find its balance. Good news is, two of the items that are in the weight loss package are also in the Bella Health program, which is the Cinnamate and the Vital. So is your body ready? If you've already been doing that Bella Health and longevity for 30 days or more, you are absolutely ready to take that next step. And often you will find that your body's already started balancing out and shifting the weight on its own, because it's building, it's setting you up, it's reducing the stress, it's helping the body get a moment to breathe and allow it to let go. If you've just finished a good track detox with great results, yeah, there's no reason not to step into this program. If you've had general good health with healthy lifestyle, with not too many, we'll call them poor habits that need to be changed, then yes, I would jump into it. And if you're ready to commit to a lifestyle, not a number on the scale. I've never been about what is that number on the scale. We're looking at what is healthy. And I will give you guys a perfect personal example. A lot of you guys know how stressful last year was for Troy and I, especially starting on January 20th when he got so sick and almost died. And then we actually had months of bringing his health back, and him only having had a 1% chance of survival put his body into massive amounts of stress. It also caused massive amount of weight loss. And I was dealing with all this as well. So yes, as he came out of it, both of us did put on weight. But I also told him, I said, trust the body. What it's going to want to see is where we are at the anniversary date of that. So I said, once it realizes that we're not going to go back into panic mode, then trust me, watch what happens. So as of January 20th, we got through the start date and I watched my body start to shift. And all of a sudden it started balancing out. So did Troy's. And now that we've come through the period where it was the scariest for him, in fact, we're literally just now have stepped out of it. Now the body is starting to shift and to let the weight go, because it doesn't feel like it's going to have to do a Hail Mary again. Again, the body doesn't make mistakes. We often misunderstood and misinterpret what's being said, but the body doesn't make mistakes. So if you've got all those saying yes, then I say, let's do this. Let's move forward. So I wanted to play this. This is a really neat story, again, with using the Bella Health program initially to get these results.
In 2010, I was diagnosed with H. pylori. After several rounds and different kinds of antibiotics, I was ready to give up. I felt horrible and depressed. Nothing helped me. I felt weak, dizzy, I was pale. I felt like I got hit by a train every day. After several tests, the doctor said that I had diabetes, ulcers, high cholesterol, sleep apnea, and the list goes on. I started taking twice a day Cinnamate. Within a couple days, I felt different. My energy was back. I wasn't fully recovered, but I started making changes in my diet. I lost 45 pounds, and I have made a complete change. I currently take the whole product line. I take Vertiscience and probiotic before I go to bed, and I sleep better than I have in years. It's been over a year. Slowly but surely, Solle Naturals has changed my life. I don't go a day without telling people about these amazing products. Everybody notices the difference in me. Although the doctors thought it wasn't possible, I currently am off all my medications. I cannot live without Solle Naturals.
So the other neat thing about this is she went on and added, when she added in the power cheat, she ended up with a total weight loss of 90 pounds. So again, that Bella Health program that I talked about where we started, and then she went on with complete in the power cheat, fantastic. So now I've asked Greg to share how we Soul picks which products are going to fit into the lift category. So Greg, take it away, my friend.
Thank you, Valerie. Thanks for all that amazing info. Everybody needs to hear this, huh? Just listen to, soak it all in. It's such good counsel. Really, really good guidance. I wish everyone could hear it. Well, I don't know if I could share screen, Val. I only have like 1 or 2 slides I want to show. If you can co-host me.
Let's see. There we go. Here, I thought I had it all figured out this time. There you go.
Oh, you did. You did. You did and do. Okay, so let's see. Got to go to the right one here. So this is from, here's a slide it's just reached today its 10-year anniversary, this slide. And it describes the lifting category, this red category. And Valerie's talked about several products in it today, right? And so often a lot of the weight loss products pertain, not all of them, but a good group of them pertain to this red category, which is all about lifting. And the first thing that I want to say is lifting, please always, I hope we all say inside ourselves, whenever we read the category name or look at that label, we always think of both the physical and emotional, because they're all designed that way equally. Lifting, if you want to say it this way, body and mind, or the physical and the emotional, lifting both. So that's what the category is meant to do. And there's a lot that goes into that. I mean, just listening to what Valerie said today, she really explained really what goes into that, how we lift ourselves. And remember, it was part of these 4 categories, which were meant to simplify the way we nourish ourselves and the way we help others. We don't have to have this incredible vast knowledge when we understand what we mean when we talk about balancing and lifting and calming and clarifying. So it's a really short paragraph, isn't it, that describes the lifting. Our lifting products naturally stimulate the body and mind to provide increased energy, vitality, and productivity. So you'll notice the word vitality, which is also part of the balance, the green category. That's common to both categories. And part of the reason we included in this one as well is because perhaps in every era, but especially in ours, most everyone runs, we believe, on the low side of energy, both mental and physical. I really believe that because I've seen it in myself, my family, and others. It doesn't mean we're all moping. It doesn't mean that at all. It means people are doing amazing things running on the low side of energy, emotionally and physical. I really believe that about all of humanity, the greatness in everyone, and we make do with what we have. And we're given a disadvantage because of the typical diet and our typical understanding on how we feed ourselves. And we do get confronted and exposed with a lot more stressors, just a lot more information, movement, both positive and negative, just a lot more of it. And these are just some of the reasons. There are more chemicals, more, let's just call it, I know you're going to think I'm weird, radio waves, but just a lot more electronic signals, okay, everywhere. Things that the body has to process through they are part of health. They do affect physical and emotional. Of course they do. Our body's amazing if we give it the right nutrients and the right habits. So what we're saying with lifting, and the reason there's a lot of talk about it, and so many people have, like Dolores, certain lifting products are just their favorite soul drink, because we kind of run on the short side of fuel, but we're not cutting out what we expect of ourselves and perhaps what we give of ourselves. And like Valerie said, so a lot of people can turn to stimulants, but we can't like Mallory said, that doesn't last forever. It takes its toll. So what we believe with lifting is we've got to give the body more. We just need to give body and mind more of the nutrition that we know ties into production of energy and everything that comes with that, and how we feel productive mentally, how the mind can feel kind of free to move and adapt. And so that's what the lifting category is all about. So when we are formulating and adding products to the line, I guess a recent example would be NeuroIM. NeuroIM. So let me just say, I'm gonna stop share for real quick and show you one slide in Neuro, okay? It was, like it often is, very difficult for us to choose exactly whether to put Neuro in balance or in clarify even, or in lift. And ultimately, we ended up with NeuroIM in the lift, in the red label. So think about what we've talked about so far. I'm just gonna grab the slide here. Sorry, I've got them layered on my computer, so I couldn't see it. Can you see it now? So this is just this is one of the ingredients in Neuro. But I wanted to show this as an example today. This is tremella. This is one of the really amazing mushrooms that makes up this formula of 10 mushrooms. And I will tell you, part of the reason NeuroIM has a red lifting label is because there are 10 different powerful adaptogenic mushrooms in it. So yes, the sheer number made part of the reason, because remember, we're trying to give a level here that lifts the body's processes, that lifts the body's production of energy and productivity, or of some vital function. So anything that's lifting, pushing it forward, then we're very tempted to put a red label. Well, look at tremella. Look at that second bullet point. It promotes nerve regeneration. These are points taken from studies. So there was an actual study on this. Peripheral nerve regeneration happens when tremella is part of your diet, a part of your nutrition. In Chinese herbal philosophy, that state that Valerie described, where how did you put it? What we do to our adrenals. What did you say? I liked your word. Like people that are on stimulants at energy drinks and whatever, you did this to your adrenals.
Yeah, you exhaust them.
You exhaust them. Used another word, but it was, yeah, exhausting them. Your adrenals are boom. Anyway, I loved it.
Tapped out.
Tapped out. There you go. That's the word. We tap out various organs, pretty key ones, okay, and glands. And what we did with several of these mushrooms are about that, directly restoring tapped out organs, regenerating herbs. Look at the fifth bullet point, neurite outgrowth, protecting brain neurons in cases of Alzheimer's. That was a study. So for me, when we look at things where we're actually bringing a direct correlation with exhaustion and dealing with exhaustion, and then when we're looking at regeneration in large amounts, okay, because we have some of that in all categories. You can find some of that in all categories. But with the red category, we're really looking at the overall, the combined effect of all of these adaptogens, and looking for an extra push. So things that tend to warm the body up when things are slow and cooling and sluggish, heating up, accelerating, warming, stimulating, but in the sense that Valerie said, not in an artificial sense and not in an artificial push. These are words that we go back and as we look at formulas and go, is this the preponderance in this formula? Is this where we, more than anything else, and then so we choose red. So yeah, red is about that, warming, accelerating, stimulating, more energy, elevating. Think of it in all sorts of physical functions, and think of it in the same way in the emotional sense. That's where we give the red label. All right, Val, back to you.
Thank you, Greg. One of the reasons I love Soul also is the simplicity. As you start to understand how the categories function, then it helps you to also be able to move forward when you're making choices as to what to use for your um, protocol. So this testimony came in today, was shared with me, and I absolutely love this because it's talking about this person is listening to the body, which you guys know I'm big on. They're letting the body take its own natural process by finding the balance. And as it found its balance, it shifted in size to where went back to a healthy size. So this person is using all 4 drinks, using cinnamate daily because it helps with energy and mood. If they know they're going to have a stressful day, then that is definitely their go-to, and they might add an extra vital as well. If they're feeling full or bloated, then Excel. And again, they like to start the day with cinnamate. They said it's hard to explain, but their body knows exactly what it wants, and they just choose whichever drink for the day, depending on what their body's asking for. If they have a corporate visit, they take Excel or Vital to keep themselves energized. They also use Omnitox daily to organically detox. Remember, I talked about the body has these toxins that want to move out. Berryzymes after meals for easy digestion, help to deal with stress because they're naturally anxious. They also use the complete as a smoothie, and they actually add sulmegas to it as well because good fats will help you shift your weight to a healthy level as well. It says they work about 10 to 12 or 10 to 11 hours a day, so we've got stress there, and they're able to be their old self and stay focused and productive. They have gone back to their size 4. When they started the program, they had gone up to size 8 or 10 due to all the stress, bloating, and bad digestion. And again, by just giving the body these unique formulas with the adaptogens is helping to balance out, and the body, like she says, not only she lost weight, but she sleeps better, feels better, and she doesn't have mood swings. She also doesn't feel puffy or bloated. So this is just huge and so exciting. And I love, again, that shows the power of these formulas and the power of adaptogens bringing the body into balance. So I talked about 2 different directions as to way to go. Some people have achieved this weight loss and weight balancing with the Bella Health program. Some are doing it with the products that are here in the holistic weight loss. But what I'm going to tell you is if you feel like you would benefit from having both together, you see there's overlap here with the cinnamate and vital. Let me let you know, probiotic has been proven in studies to aid the body in helping balance weight. Anytime you're better digesting your food with the Verdazymes, then the food is less apt to be an irritant to cause inflammation. That's going to be beneficial, especially as we age. It's more challenging to break down our food, and then longevity because of the D3. There are studies that correlate that when a person is overweight, that they're also low in vitamin D. Now, because vitamin D also ties in with hormones, and I mean, there's just this whole little domino thing going on. So I feel that these work very well together. And for me, it makes sense to use the holistic weight loss package and then go ahead and add in the missing elements like the D3, the longevity, the probio, and the Verdazymes. Again, they work very well together, and they're giving that good base. Here we are in Kansas in the sunflower state, and I love this picture of this sunflower getting ready to bloom. And I thought this was very apropos for our topic of conversation today. The secret of change is to focus all of your energy not on fighting the old, but on building the new. So otherwise, instead of not focusing on everything you've done wrong, let's look at the new things we can put into play. Let's look at doing simple lifestyle changes, things that are doable, picking one lifestyle change a week, changing out to water, getting up and moving period. I am all about making things doable and accomplishable. We want to set you up to succeed. So again, don't fight the old. Let's work on building the new and focus on that instead. Next week's topic will be on working with people who have a compromised or removed gallbladder, something that I see all too often. And actually, once again, Sole's got some very simple solutions to help work with this. So I hope you will join us next week for that.